June 13th. It might just look like another totally ordinary square on the calendar, but it's actually one of the absolute greatest dates in all of mathematical history. So let's dive right into this explainer and see exactly why this one specific day is so incredibly monumental.
Seriously, on this exact date, spanning across completely different centuries, four wildly brilliant minds fundamentally changed the world we live in today. Now, they didn't know each other, and they were solving vastly different problems, but they all share this one specific magical anniversary. So let's meet them, one by one.
Think about it for a second. How do we instantly know to multiply numbers, whether we're punching them into a calculator or just doing homework? We use the symbol every single day, completely without a second thought. But where did that simple universal X actually come from?
Well, the trail leads us all the way back to June 13, 1660, and an English mathematician by the name of William Oughtred.
You see, before Oughtred, doing math literally meant writing out long, agonizingly confusing word problems. It was incredibly tedious, super prone to error. I mean, just imagine trying to do complex calculations with massive paragraphs of text. His absolute biggest achievement was cutting right through all that noise. He invented the X symbol for multiplication, instantly transforming those verbose, clunky paragraphs into the clear, simple visual math that we all recognize instantly today.
And his genius definitely didn't stop at the X. He also introduced the double colon symbol for proportions. But beyond just symbols, by treating fractions and decimals as continuous, fluid numbers, he actually created an early version of the circular slide rule. He essentially built the complex mechanical ancestor to the digital calculators sitting in our classrooms right now. Pretty amazing, right?
So the next time you multiply something, just remember that you are secretly speaking Oughtred's 400-year-old mathematical language. He gave multiplication its X, fundamentally changing the speed and clarity at which our entire modern world calculates.
Okay, so we're staying on the date of June 13th, but we're going to jump forward in the timeline to the year 1831 to meet our next genius.
Consider this for a second. How exactly does your smartphone stream high-definition music flawlessly? Or, how does your Wi-Fi work across your entire house without a single physical wire? We kind of treat it like magic when our devices connect invisibly like that. But that invisible handshake is actually driven by a profound and highly specific mathematical pattern.
We can actually trace the birth of our wireless world directly back to the birth of James Clerk Maxwell, who came into the world on, you guessed it, June 13th, 1831. Before Maxwell came along, electricity and magnetism were actually thought to be completely separate forces. But he proved they were just two sides of the same coin. By formulating the precise equations for these unseen physical forces, he showed us that invisible electromagnetic waves carry energy through space. I mean, he laid the absolute rock-solid mathematical groundwork for the radio, the mobile phone, and the Wi-Fi connections we literally rely on every day.
But what's really fascinating is that Maxwell wasn't just a mathematician. He was actually a poet. He once wrote, "My soul is an entangled knot upon a liquid vortex wrought." He truly saw the deep underlying poetry in science, and it's wild to think about. But every wireless video you watch today is secretly woven from the beautiful, entangled mathematical principles that he discovered.
All right, moving right along. Exactly 51 years later, on that exact same date in 1882, the math world faced a completely different kind of challenge.
How did humanity uncover the absolute deepest mathematical secrets of circles long before computers ever even existed? Today, finding the exact value of pi just takes pressing a button on a screen. But try to imagine doing millions of complex calculations using nothing but a pen, parchment, and just raw, unfiltered brainpower.
This brings us to William Shanks. He's a man who passed away on June 13, 1882, and he left behind a legacy built on pure, unfathomable mental stamina.
We're talking about a massive, almost unbelievable number, 707. That represents the 707 decimal places of pi that Shanks painstakingly calculated entirely by hand over the course of his lifetime. It is a monumental feat of human endurance and just sheer intellectual dedication.
And he didn't just knock this out over a long weekend either. Shanks spent his mornings calculating new digits, and then his entire afternoons rigorously double-checking that morning's work. Because, a single tiny error would literally ruin the entire sequence. He found this incredibly grueling routine and stuck to it relentlessly for years, truly demonstrating the absolute upper limit of human focus.
It is honestly both
Amazing and a little humbling to think that a modern computer algebra package can complete his entire life's work in a fraction of a second. A literal lifetime of human calculation matched by a microchip in a single heartbeat.
So let's move the timeline forward one more time to 1928 and see how all this historical groundwork really builds into our modern era of computing and digital strategy.
Have you ever wondered why a computer game or an AI algorithm always seems to know exactly what winning strategy to use against you? Whether you're fighting a video game boss or using an app that predicts exactly what you want to buy, there is actually a hidden mathematical logic to winning.
And the foundation for that very logic was laid on June 13, 1928, with the birth of the absolutely brilliant John F. Nash.
Nash completely revolutionized game theory. He discovered that there are strict mathematical patterns hiding right inside the chaos of human decision-making, competition, and economics. By proving that even totally selfish behaviors can reach a stable mathematical equilibrium, he essentially built the economic and logical foundations that power modern AI algorithms today.
Nash famously asked his peers, "The question occurs to me, why are you here?" He was constantly questioning motives, human behaviors, and underlying strategies. His highly abstract theory of human strategy ultimately became the exact mathematical blueprint we use to program the AI technology of the future. He literally found the hidden formula behind every single winning move.
Now, just think about the powerful connections here. Every person we've met in this explainer, spanning across completely different centuries and countries, they all ultimately ask the exact same question. What is the mathematical pattern hiding inside the chaos?
Because they dedicated their entire lives to finding those patterns, our incredibly connected modern world exists. Because of them, we have automated calculations, Wi-Fi, and artificial intelligence. And that leaves us with one final fascinating thought. What invisible mathematical secrets are just waiting for you to uncover